Hello, and welcome to the second episode of the Take Two podcast. Before we start today's episode, our hearts go out to those affected by the school shooting in Madison yesterday.
Thanks, Gabe. So we missed a lot since last episode. We missed a week because Gabe somehow got deathly ill really
Yes.
randomly.
Mm-hmm.
But we're back now, and thank God for MarTell because he didn't have his notes prepared, but that's all right. So now we're back.
All
We're
good now.
ready for the next episode, so it's good to have you back, Gabe.
Yeah, thank you. We can get on to the news topics for today.
Yeah. So this is a while ago. We kind of had to make things evened out a little bit from old episodes, old news stories that were scripted from a while ago, and now like upcoming news stories. So this is from a week ago, so bear that in mind. But Joe Biden pardoned his son Hunter Biden on the night of December 1st, which goes against his pledge not to use excessive authority to pardon his son or commute his sentence. Hunter was set to be sentenced on December 12th for his conviction on federal gun charges. In a separate case, he was set to be sentenced on December 16th, which is yesterday, for his conviction on federal tax evasion. Democrats are wondering how this affects President Biden's legacy. So we're going to have a little conversation about this real quick because it's a pretty important thing. I'm a super big Biden guy, but I don't think he should have done it. And I think that put a big mark on his legacy. I'm curious to what your opinions on that are. I've heard people who are supportive, people who aren't, so I'm interested.
Yeah, I'm a little bit less of a Biden guy. I don't think his presidency was as great as it could have been. I think it's a really awful topic because on one hand, I don't think he should have done it because he said he wasn't going to do it. But
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I don't actually find I think any father in that situation would have done the same thing.
Yeah,
I don't know if I don't agree with it, but I don't think I can hold him.
And that's where a lot of the counter arguments that I'm getting from it come from, which makes sense. And then you also have to go to the fact that Trump is a convicted felon and that he's done worse. Martell's rolling his eyes at me, so we'll get to that good stuff in a minute. So we can go on to the next one now, though. So, Gabe.
Yeah, for sure. So the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, was murdered on the morning of December 4th. His suspected killer was found at a McDonald's on the 9th in Pennsylvania. His name is Luigi Nicholas Mangione, I think is how you pronounce it.
I think that's right.
He was a suspect. He was found carrying a gun. After the attack, investigators found the words delay, deny, and depose written in permanent marker on the ammunition at the scene. I didn't, which is that I feel like that's a lot of information that the media isn't picking up as much. We've seen a lot of stuff about the guy, but not as much about the actual crime.
Yeah, I agree, and I think a lot of people are coming out very supportive of Luigi, and I think that's mainly because the CEO has contributed indirectly to so many deaths around America, and just shows the flaws in our American healthcare system.
For sure. And obviously, I think you can agree that that doesn't mean he deserved to die by any means. I think it's awful that happened.
I would
And
agree.
I firmly believe that Luigi should be convicted for what he did. But I feel like a lot of Americans are coming out and talking about the hypocrisy of the whole situation.
I think a big part has to do with the fact that he's a attractive male too.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if it was anybody else who was of a minority group or
he's white too. That's
white male. It's a like big part of it.
Yeah, but anyway, to get a little bit back on track, the words delay, deny, and depose were written in permanent marker on the ammunition at the scene. Those words mimic a phrase used by in the insurance industry critics. This event, as we've said, has angered a lot of Americans and has caused a lot of political debate, which I guess is continuing right now.
Yeah. So just this morning, which is the morning of the 17th, a top Russian general was killed in a Moscow bombing. Ukraine claims to be responsible for the death of Lieutenant General Igor Kirilov. I got a pronunciation and I still messed it up. Wow. So he was a chief of the military's nuclear, biological, and chemical protection forces, and he was the general that was killed. Kirilov was under sanctions from several countries, including the UK and Canada, for his actions in Russia's war in Ukraine.
Okay, so we're now going to go into the debate segment. Today, we're joined by MarTell Freeland. MarTell, would you like to introduce yourself?
All right, I'm MarTell.
Great.
I'm a sophomore. I'm a sophomore in high school. I come from a a far left liberal household, and this is great.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
so
excited for the debate?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So there's going to be two different topics. We're going to spend 15 minutes on each topic. I will act as a moderator for the first debate. Thomas is going to act as a moderator for the second debate. We're going to give 5-minute warnings. The debates are open note, open discussion. And to start, MarTell will have you give your claim.
All right, my claim is Trump's immigration policy will be better for the country than the current system we have now.
Yeah, that's great. MarTell, it's good to have you. We were really good friends. We're close friends, sit at lunch together. And we had, before the podcast started, it was one of the main reasons I started this was because Martell would get mad at me because I was talking about politics too much at the lunch table. So it's good to have you, and it's good to have this. It's gonna be super fun. Looking forward to it. So my first thing to bring up, and I kind of already know the answer to this question is: are you Catholic or Christian?
Yes.
Okay, so my issue with that is that the Trump's immigration policies are very anti-Christian, and that goes into the humanitarian concerns of that. So including like family separations, psychological trauma, and like just those ethical issues that bring it up.
All right. So, do you know what the CBP app is?
CBP app?
Yes.
No, I'm not.
Okay. It's the app.
It's got a lot of
Yeah,
notes.
yeah. It's a lot. Uh, so the app is was given out by the Biden administration to help immigration, help like people trying to immigrate to the United States come into the country at an easier rate. And so I gotta find it here.
Yeah, that's the issue when you got all those notes. Is you gotta. It's in a small font too. Holy.
It's not that small. Oh, yeah, so actually, like from it, it made illegal immigration worse. In some cases, made it worse for the government to find illegals. And what you see that like migrants like not being found, like not like being like noticed, like crossing the border and coming in alone, that actually went up during the Biden administration. And also, sexual assaults, including rape and sex trafficking, went up during the Biden administration under the CBT app. And it actually causes humanitarian concerns from do I have it on here?
This is so funny watching and go through all these notes.
No, so it's a humanitarian group that went through it and found that it was a very humanitarian from how they try to use the app.
Yeah, so I'm not aware of. Could you explain to me again how like what is the app? Like what's because I'm not aware of it. So if you could just
It makes it's trying to like help like immigrate like people who trying to immigrate to the United States easier for like them to access. Cause I know before we have actually talked about like how long it may take for some immigrants like trying to get in, like how long
yeah.
that takes.
Uh-huh.
So parts of the app were also try there just like make that shorter for them and like make it easier.
Yeah, and do you know how that was executed?
Uh,
If you don't know, that's okay. I'm just trying to
I
get all the
believe it
information.
was a application. I off the top of my head, I do not have that on here. Which
Yeah. You got a whole book doesn't have it. All right, that's all
uh,
right. That's all right. Yeah, so I think that what that address was something that's not very aware to the public, and I could be wrong. That's just like I wasn't aware of it. So which is interesting, and that's a good thing to look into. I don't have anything on it, and I don't have any like sources to confirm that. So you could be true, and I think there's a fact check that's going to go on the screen at some point that's going to say whether it's true or not. But I'm more concerned of how you could address the more like I think blatantly obvious humanitarian concerns that go along with Trump's policy. Like, and I can recap that if you like. It's separating families, psychological trauma, and harm to like family units and communities.
okay, so do you know the borders are under the Obama administration?
Borders are, if I'm not mistaken, is not an official government role.
No, like the director of like say the border during the Obama administration.
Director of the border. I just, no, because I'm not sure that's an official government role. So
It's not an official like government role, but
That's the
Uh,
thing that came up with Kamala Harris a lot, was that people are saying, "Oh, she's the border czar." The thing is that that's not an official appointed role. That's But yeah, I'll
yeah, I
let you
know
go
it's
and find that.
not official, but like the ICE director during the Obama administration. That's what
Oh,
I meant.
okay, yeah, ICE director. I don't know. I don't know who that was.
So it was actually these like the same guy under the Trump administration, where he wants the guy he wants now was actually under Obama as well, Tom Homan, and he actually and the Obama administration. Yeah, you can look it up right now. There are pictures of kids in cages from what Obama like wanted to do with immigration, and there are videos of Obama saying he wants to be very tough on immigration than what him and Kamala I have like said now.
Yeah, so I think first of all, we're talking about the current system. So Obama is in the current system, and you showed me. We've had this conversation before. I've seen those pictures, and I think I don't have the backstory to them. I should have, honestly, before this, should have looked into that more, because you did point it out to me, and I think that was, again, a really valid point. Um, but yeah, I didn't go into detail about that. But again, what we're going back to here is, instead of you addressing the claims about how Trump's immigration policies and humanitarian concerns don't align with the Catholic faith. So how do you, as a Catholic, um, address that?
I really don't like look at it as like a Catholic view, just more so like like a humanism view that like you said your last episode.
Yeah, we had this debate with Brian last episode. If you want to check
Yeah.
that out, it
So
was excited to
so I have a
go
question
into
for
depth
you.
about that.
Do you believe that the Bible has been used in wrong ways before?
Oh, 100%.
Okay. So would you say that like everything that like it says in the Bible, it can be interpreted in like many ways?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. So uh just because you're saying that say what you're saying again.
No, that's all right. I had the same thing happen to me last time. So like, how can you take Trump's immigration policies and how like anti-human they are, in a sense, um, and like that's how like Pope Francis has publicly came out and condemned Trump's policies on immigration. So how can you take that as a Catholic and say that it's okay?
So I, from the humanitarian point of view, like I said before, humanism, and also just because, oh my,
You got a lot there.
yeah, no, I'm just forgetting like everything I'm like saying like
Yeah,
at the
no,
time.
that's all right. It's a new thing to get used to.
If you gotta take a quick pause to get yourself together, that's
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
okay. Okay, we can do
Yeah,
that.
all right,
I'll
that's
pause the
good.
timer, and then we will take a quick pause so you can get yourself together. Okay, and we're back. We gave maybe a minute or two. I'm gonna start the timer again right now, and you guys
Can we say how much time do we have left in it?
you have 7 minutes left.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I can go back to what we were talking about, and how that the church and the Catholic views conflict with Trump's policies. So I have a thing here. It says the Catholic Church's teaching emphasized the dignity of human beings, the sanctity of the family unit, and the moral importance of care to the vulnerable. Like, for example, and I use this against Brian, is that Jesus was an immigrant, and he came, and his parents, Mary and Joseph, came for refuge in when Jesus was born. So like, how can you take Trump's views and align that with your like moral, um, religious views, especially if I think a lot of Republicans take their moral Catholic views and apply it, like, and for example, abortion.
Okay, so like humanitarianly, I would just say more so if you're like doing something illegal, it's wrong, and that coming to like, a country illegally is wrong.
Hmm.
So like the punishment for that would be like harsh. I believe that, like some things, like yes, I feel like they may be wrong, but in the more I think the moral sense, you do something wrong, you should have to face the punishment for that, and not just be let into the country just because you like didn't like your old country.
Yeah, no, I for sure agree with that, and I think our immigration system does need reform. I think the Trump's ways are the wrong way of doing it. So what I think that we need and how to fix is like improving like efficiency in the system. So like processing visas and green cards, and like eliminating delays and making sure that things, like as we were talking about before, as quick as possible, while also having those safety and those obvious like steps to make sure that the people who are coming in are like good, like safe people. And to bring up your point about crime, and I feel like I'm repeating things that I talked to us about, Brian, but so you're more likely to be, I'm assuming you're a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're more likely to be a criminal than an illegal immigrant is
What's your
coming
source
into
on that?
America. Yeah, I have it here somewhere. I think it's an NPR article.
Uh, all right, so I don't really see how like that matters. Like just because like I'm less like they're less commit like less likely to commit a crime, they're actively still doing something illegal, which is breaking.
Well, you can't say they. So the issue is that it's such a small minority of immigrants, especially we're specifically talking about the southern border here and the Mexico border, are like such a small minority of those people are criminals.
Really quick to butt in. I know I just did one, but we have 5 minutes left.
Great. Okay.
Could we possibly get more time?
No, we gotta save 5 minutes, but I'll make it quick. So because of that, we have so again, I'm losing my train of thought, man. Let's see, it happens to the best. But we have, because like such a small minority of those people are criminals, people going to our country. You can't say that, oh, all of the people who are coming into the country at southern border are criminals. And I think that people who do come into the country at the southern border who are criminals do need to be punished for that. But then I go into like humanitarian concerns, like separations of families and et cetera.
Well, there's like humanitarian concerns. It's just don't come into the country without the proper like identification and not going through the proper channels.
Yeah, for sure. So this goes back to another Catholic argument, which is like death penalty and how harsh punishments can get, which is, or a lot of Republicans are pro death penalty. So I think that there's a big issue with the Republican Party is that their moral views of mainly Catholicism and Christianity don't align with their political views.
Okay,
But that's another thing. We can get back to that later.
well, do you agree with like separation of church and state?
100%.
Okay, so do you like agree that like some people's values like they can change from like how they're raised and like how like they want people to like see themselves?
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm a prime example of that. I'm an ex Catholic, so
Okay. So like would you so like what I'm trying to say here is that like just because like they have like these values like in the Catholic Church, like the people like they're different than that in some ways. Like some people are, but like I can yeah.
pretty much what you're
Yeah.
saying is if you're a member of the Catholic Church, your viewpoints could not be 100% aligned. Is that correct? I don't want to put words in your mouth, so just make sure.
Like for some people, yes.
Okay. So the issue with that is if you are a Catholic, you believe in church doctrine. And the church doctrine is set up through the Bible and through the Vatican. And like, for example, Pope Francis coming out and condemning Trump's immigration policies would not align with your religious viewpoints and moral viewpoints.
Well, Trump also isn't a Catholic.
He's Christian. He claims to be Christian. I don't see why that matters, but he claims to be a Christian. But on top of that, he also sells his own Bibles, saying like, and his extreme supporters treat him like a god, which goes against the commandments. But
Okay, well, let's like kind of get off of let's get off the church here.
okay,
Like more so into trafficking. So from Congress.gov, 100,000 for 147,000 migrant children entered the U.S. Entered the U.S. in 2022, and only 1,122 in in 22 were taken into custody, and the others were not. So how would you possibly like agree with what the Biden administration is doing and what
yeah.
Kamala
So as
wants to
I
do?
said before, I don't agree with everything that the Biden administration is doing. For example, their stance on Israel and Palestine. I don't think that we should be giving funds to Israel. And this would be a point that aligns with that. At like people who are criminals should be taken into custody. And again, I need a backstory for this, which is a lame excuse, I know, but
I
it,
guess you're born in a middle class family.
what?
You're born into a middle class family.
I'm sorry. What?
He said you were born
In a middle class family.
No, I've
No, I was just making a joke.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my I lost my train of thought. That was
We are getting to the point where final statements are in order. I kind of want to, I feel like we just took a weird pivot in the last 2 minutes. Can we go back to because we kind of ended talking about church and how, uh, and I think that's great. The debate can evolve. We kind of ended talking about the church and the government, which is great. Can we have any last word kind of regarding how immigration ties into the government versus like the church documents? Can we have one last final statement on that from you and then have you respond to it one time?
Yeah, so I think my main overarching point here is that as a Christian, and specifically as a Catholic, you can't take these Catholic values, for example, pro life and like making abortion illegal, and like pick and choose in a sense. So you can't take that, but then have Pope Francis who's condemning Trump's immigration policies, and say that, oh, that's okay, and what he's doing is okay, and in fact good for America.
Okay, you want to respond to that?
Not really.
All right.
Okay,
Okay.
that's okay. That's okay. Okay,
No,
so
but I have a question for him though.
Yeah. No, we can.
Oh, we can do
I'm
a quick
okay with that.
question. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's the price they put on national security?
Pretty high.
So, would you? So, are you fine with like the cost that it will take for mass deportation?
Um. Well, the issue more with that is that the deportation is happening to, for example, immigrants who have been in this country for decades and have been trying to get their green cards and have like support our agricultural industries, and but our immigration process is so slow that that's a lot of the people that Trump is aiming to deport.
Like,
All right, I
what's-
do have to cut us here. We are pretty far into it. Thank you so much, MarTell. Thank you, Thomas. We're gonna move on.
Yeah,
to
it was super
later.
fun, man. I really enjoyed taking this away from the lunch table and like making it a little more formal. I will act as a moderator for the second debate. I'll give a 5-minute warning. This debate will also be open notes and open discussion. To start, Gabe will state his claim.
Yeah, so MarTell, my claim is that Trump's tariffs that he has talked a lot about are going to hurt the American economy and the average working class citizen.
okay.
15 minutes starts now. MarTell, you may begin.
Okay, so I have that 79 billion annual tax increase like under Trump's policies from a economist. I don't remember the article, but I remember it was around 79 80 billion.
Mhm.
And
I'm sorry, what is that number? Can you just
79 billion annual
annual what?
Tax increase
On what?
under Trump's policy.
Of tax increase of what? Of citizens, like what citizens are paying in taxes?
No. It's from like how much like the US government I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
No, it's 79 billion annual tax increase. That will be for like what like the government like the money they'll gain under his policy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I understand what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I would like to take this back a little bit. Can we just talk about like not talking about Trump's tariffs? Can we just talk about tariffs in general for a second? I want to see if we can find a middle ground and somewhere where it's something we agree about on tariffs and then go into Trump's plans for it. Does that sound okay?
Okay.
So I pulled a definition of a tariff from the I think it was the American Tax Corporation. It was something like that. But I have a tariff is a tax or fee that a government imposes on imported goods or services with the purpose of a tariff. It is usually to make imported products more expensive, which can encourage people to buy domestic products instead. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
This is often done to protect local industries and jobs, promote domestic economic growth, or sometimes as a tool to trade negotiations with other countries. Do you agree with all that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
Wait, what's the source from that?
that's the some tax site.org. It's a government website.
Okay.
But I have it in here somewhere. I can show you after if you want, but I did just forget. So now we're going to talk about. So we agree that that's what a tariff is. So to talk about Trump's tariffs, first I want to talk about. Are you aware what the numbers are on his tariffs?
It's around like 60 for China, 20 like around like
Yeah,
everyone else.
60 for China, 25 for Canada and Mexico, and you understand that that's a blanket tax. You know what that means?
Like just starting off.
Blanket tax means every single thing that's imported.
Yeah.
So, I guess I kind of want to explain why I take this position on the claim. If you're looking at a 25% blanket tax on every single good imported from China and Canada, and then a 60% tax on, Mexico and Canada, and then a 60% tax on goods imported from China, those are crazy high numbers. And uh, what I'm saying is that is going to be taken out of the middle average American citizen, average working class American's pocket.
Okay, so I yeah. So according to the Harvard Business Review, from his tariffs back from his first presidency, mostly things wait, like the market was actually better for American companies, and that
When it was better when?
under his first presidency
Under
from like
Trump's first presidency?
yeah
So,
from from like certain products like if I remember it was like aluminum if I remember
mhm.
and that like yes like some like cuts were made in the GDP but Josh rebounded after like immigration like in that deportation of illegals and giving more jobs to Americans which will help like the middle class the lower class and giving like more people jobs
Mhm.
and that it was like less like foreign competition from the sense that like things had to be made here. So you have like more like say companies like smaller companies
Yeah, for sure.
trying to do
More
stuff.
internal, like we're creating our own wealth in America. That's
Yeah.
what you. So, yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up. So, especially with the aluminum and stuff, I have no way of. I don't know if that's true or not, but I will take your word for it. But even talking about stuff like that, I do specifically want to talk about uh, metals and natural resources, and really what the purpose, because on from an outside um from your perspective makes sense. It really does. I'm all for promoting the like growing the economy and clearly and creating jobs. I totally agree with you. But the problem with this is that there is a reason that every single country in the world, every single major power in the world, imports and exports so much. And it's because it is unrealistic for a country to be able to create all of the resources and products that they need in the country. Even, and I'm going to give a few examples and then you can respond. I wrote down, this is not a super detailed list, but it's a list just going over some of the things that, the things that, Mexico, Canada, and China import into the U.S. So Mexico is one of the largest. So I know that one thing that I'm actually for. I want to back up for a second. Is so the 60% tax on imported goods from China. The auto industry from China. I think that tax is helpful for the auto industry in America because I think they're kind of getting to a point where they're going to start overpowering the American automotive industry soon. But so I actually think that that's a really good use of that tariff. However, then we're looking at a 25% blanket tax on goods imported from Canada and Mexico. And a lot of those goods imported from Mexico are car parts that American companies use. So my problem with this whole economic plan is that it contradicts itself. It goes, he talks about how he wants to, he as in Trump talks about how he wants to um, work on the United States as a bigger oil production, uh, like to produce more oil, and and also have more oil. That part of that is importing more oil into the country, and 48% of the oil that the United States gets is from uh, Mexico. So those major, and that's not even talking about phones. Companies have phones that they manufacture in China. They have clothes. All these companies manufacture things in other places because it's more efficient to do so. And moving that to America will raise prices for consumers. So it doesn't really matter that more jobs are getting created when everyone's going to have to pay more. You know what I mean?
Okay, so like for you saying that like more like that the companies have like more like efficient like factories and like industry like
Mhm.
overseas. You can also like detail that from if I remember off the top of my head, I think it was like when Clinton signed NAFTA, uh, and that it helped like companies go overseas and got cheaper labor, but also that it also like in the long run like job opportunities here like really weren't like better, and that like like only more so like the big companies also like yeah, oh my goodness, is that like the bigger companies like really only like profited and not say like your downtown like neighborhood like gas station more so.
Mhm.
So in that like with the tariff, you can also like see from like when Trudeau came to the United States to meet with Trump that it'll like most likely probably like try to increase like diplomatic relations with other countries. Like
The
so it'll
tariffs will.
yeah.
The Trump's tariffs will
Like
increase diplomat like better relations with other countries.
better relations because of that. Like when Trudeau came to meet Trump, he was talking about the tariffs. So I feel like some of the tariffs may be like just like ways to try to get like more so like diplomatic relations out of countries, because like say like in NATO, we really don't have like a tariff on them, but they more so like benefit off like what we do, and they don't really do that like do like they don't have like the economic like what am I trying to say? Oh my goodness. Can you cut this out?
Yeah, we'll
We'll do a little editing. Yeah.
we'll get into it. There's it's a good time to come in. There's 5 minutes left.
I can kind of go off of what you said already if you want,
Um,
because I have a few questions about it. I think this is a really great way for this conversation to turn, because I feel like people talk about the economic side of the tariffs all the time, and I'm getting a little bit sick of talking about it. So I think talking about the diplomatic relationships is really interesting. So your opinion is that Trump's tariffs, you can just answer with yes or no to keep it quick. Trump's tariffs will help our overall for the United States, help our relationship with other countries.
yes and no in a sense.
Okay. So I am a little confused because I don't understand how. I mean, if I am Canadian officials have come out and publicly stated that they are not for Trump's tariff plan, and obviously they're getting taxed; they're not going to be for it. But that's what I'm wondering about, because I don't understand. He's taking all these, uh, almost every country in the world gets imports from these countries. And Trump is saying that we need to just keep that in the United States. And that is going to hurt our relationship with other countries, because we do not have flowing um, we don't have money flowing in between them. We don't have resources flowing in between the countries. If what the United States is good at exporting is weapons, we export all kinds of weapons to all kinds of people. It is what we sell the most of. And so if we decide to take all these things, medical supplies, 75% of fruits and nuts come from Mexico. All of those things that we're going to have to do in the country, it's going to take away from all the stuff we're currently focusing on. So all the stuff that's going on in the government with AI and weapons and like the race to true artificial intelligence with China, all of that is going to be minimized because of these tariffs.
What's your source for like what you just said?
The 75%?
Yeah.
ILS company.
Can you explain what they do?
I cannot. I'm not super educated on the source. I know it's a reliable source. I got it. I know it's a reliable source. But even if do you disagree with the fruits and vegetables thing or the fruits and nuts thing?
I'm just asking.
Oh no, yeah, I got it from ILS company on just a list of products imported from Mexico.
Okay, so I kind of go back to Canada. From Trump's first term, he got $323 billion back from the tariffs set on Canada. And that was, and I remember that was from U.S. News, and they got it from somewhere else. I'm forgetting off the top of my head. I just looked at it.
So yes, I'm not saying that the tariffs aren't going to work. They are going to make money for the government. The problem is that if companies in the United States have to pay more money for products imported, if countries have to pay more money to sell and import goods, then they're going to upcharge the prices of their goods so that they don't lose as much money. Then those prices are going to get upped. And what are companies in the United States going to do? They're also going to up their prices for the consumers who are buying the goods in the United States. So the consumers, this really all goes back to the consumers in the middle class families are paying more with these tariffs. I'm not arguing that the government won't make money. There will clearly be a net gain of money from the tariffs. It's a tax. But that net gain is coming out of the working class's pocket, not the other countries.
Okay, just a question for you. Do you believe that the Biden administration, the economy is getting better in a sense?
I think we're in a weird stall spot. I think with the division, with the I don't really think there's that, but I think with the
I have to cut you off there. Time
Yeah.
is up, so we're gonna have our final remarks. If you want to finish the
If do you want
statement, and
that
then
to be-
MarTell can come into
Yeah.
the end there.
You
So-
can just finish.
okay. So wait, I'm so sorry. Could you repeat your question one more time? I got totally distracted.
Do you believe that the Biden administration and its economy is getting better?
I think that I'm not. I said before I'm not a big Biden guy. I think that the country is so divided right now that there even in political in like the governmental positions there was a big division throughout Biden's presidency and in political positions, and I feel like the economy didn't really flourish under him as much as it could have.
Okay, do you feel like it's getting better in a sense though?
I feel like I would have to do right now to just state something. I've not done a bunch of research into this. I can't really make a super educated opinion, but I would say that it's going. I don't think it's better now, but I don't think it's going to be better than when it's going to be when Trump is president.
We're gonna have to end there,
Yeah,
guys.
that
As
can
we're
be-
coming up, I hate to
that can-
cut you off, MarTell. Do you have anything else to add? You can add it really, really quickly. But
No, it was good talking to you, man. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
all right. MarTell, thanks for coming on today. Again, it was really great to kind of take this past just a lunch table kind of a thing and formalize it a little bit more. And I look forward to how we can take this conversation and see how it applies to our thoughts in the future. So yeah, we had some very productive conversations. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. Everyone listening and watching, please be sure to follow us on Instagram. Our handle is at Take Two Project Recovery. That's Take TWO Project Recovery. On Instagram, we'll give podcast announcements, post highlights. Thank you to everyone who has listened. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, you're getting pretty good at that. Take
Thank
two TWO.
Take Two TWO.
All right, thanks guys.
Rolling off the tongue.